If you'd like online business explained to you in a way that you can actually understand, go to latenightim.com/explain. It's completely free, and I made it just for you. Now, how about an episode? Episode 200.
Late Night Internet Marketing.
This week on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, we celebrate 200 episodes of the show. Unbelievable. I've got some special guests for you and more on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
The Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start, where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
And now, broadcasting late at night from a little studio in the big state of Texas, your host, Mark Mason.
Hey, how is everyone doing? Welcome and greetings. If this is your first time joining the show, please be advised you've landed right in the middle of episode 200, which is very exciting for me. I never imagined 10 years ago when I started this show that I'd make it to 200 episodes. On the other hand, I also never imagined that it would take me 10 years to get to 200 episodes for a show that really should be rightly putting out about 50 episodes a year. So I'm hoping that the next 200 don't take another 10 years. That's my goal. Let's try to get to 300 in about 2 years, but I'm really excited. And there are a few listeners that have been here almost the entire time. And if you have been here the entire time, I'd love to hear your story. And I'd love to hear from you. Hit me up at feedback@latenightim.com. I just love to say hello and hear how you are doing. So episode 200, very exciting. And I have something exciting planned. But first, I'd like to ask a favor. I want you to get me something for my 200th birthday. If you love the show and you really enjoy it and think it's helpful for people, please share the show with someone you know. Leave us a feedback on iTunes. Do something. Give me a little love just to show that you're enjoying the show and give me the energy that I need to head out towards episode 300. That would be very much appreciated. One of the things that I'm doing for episode 200 is I'm issuing a press release, which is an old search engine optimization technique and traffic technique that still can have some effect, especially on established websites, to help give you more authority and drive some traffic. So I'll be doing a press release to announce the fact that the show is at episode 200, and I'll be releasing that. And what I will do for you guys is I'll share with you that experience and the results on a future episode. We'll do an episode about press releases and press releases for search engine optimization in a future episode, and we'll use this as a case study because in this case we actually have something to talk about, which is really cool. Okay, that's awesome. Now let's get to the show.
It's time to get to work building your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
Now, one of the amazing things about doing something for 10 years is that you make a lot of friends. And I have a lot of amazing friends that have been so overwhelmingly successful in online business that occasionally, especially for special occasions like this, I'm able to tap them for knowledge. And so I thought I'd do that for you. And I thought I'd use a new twist on an old question. And it goes like this. I told each of these guys, hey, you step into an elevator in New York City and someone instantly recognizes you and they're super pumped about the fact that they just had a major celebrity sighting. They're a big fan and they immediately engage you in conversation. And here's what they say. They say, wow. They say, wow, you're not going to believe this, but last night I finally decided to start an internet business. And I'm so excited, but I'm just getting started. Can you please give me some advice? Now, of course, you're in an elevator. You don't have any time to ask any questions. And the person that you're talking to can't take any notes because they're right there in the elevator. So you've got to say something important that's going to stick with somebody. And in your heart, you know that the advice you're about to give is going to impact this person for decades. And I asked my friends, I said, so what do you say? So I got some amazing answers. And the first one is from my buddy, Ray Edwards from rayedwards.com. Of course, Ray is in the middle of preparing for his launch of the Copywriting Academy. We'll be talking about that next week. Ray is on the show next week. But for now, I want to let you know what Ray had to say. It was amazing. Here's Ray.
The most important thing for you to do is find your perfect customer, the person you not only can help the most, but you want to help the most. And one of the best models I've ever used for doing that is think about this. Think about what you offer and what kind of person would you work with if you only got paid if they got the result that you promise? And you had to count on them to not only implement or use what you sell them, but you also had to count on them to report back to you. And you had to count on them to be honest and pay you the money they owe. Now, I'm not saying you should only get paid on performance, but if that's the way you had to operate, who would your perfect customer be? What kind of person would they be? Whatever your answer is to that, market to and work for and get to know that person from the very beginning.
I love what Ray had to say so much. Ray is a wise man, and you can check him out at rayedwards.com. He's also got an amazing podcast that I think you might really enjoy. Okay, next up, I turn to my brother from another mother, Leslie Samuel. I love Leslie, not just because of how great he is at what he does, which is helping people get their message out online, among other things. But Leslie's from becomeablogger.com. Leslie and I have been friends for a long time. And the amazing thing about Leslie is he has an unbelievable capability to make you smile. Here's what Leslie had to say in the elevator.
Hey, this is Leslie Samuel here from becomeablogger.com, where we're changing the world one blog at a time. Hello, Mr. Elevator Person. I'm so excited that you are pumped to be starting an online business. And as you build your online business, you're going to find that there are all kinds of people out there trying to teach you what to do and this strategy for success and this tactic and all that good stuff. Some of them are going to be legit. Many of them are not going to be legit. I want to boil it down to two things for you. And these two things are two words that start with C. Number one, content. Content is the currency of the internet. You want to build a successful online business? Create content. Create helpful content. Create useful content. Create content that provides value to a specific audience. Because if you can do that and you can do it consistently, you can show up over and over and over and over, you're going to be known as the person to go to solve that specific problem. So if you can create that content that is providing that value and helping your target audience solve the problem and doing it consistently, that is going to be a core aspect to building your online business. And number two is character. Because here's one thing I know, you are a unique individual. And while when we first get started in trying to build an online business, we see people that we aspire to be like, and we try to create the same kind of content they create and do it in the same way that they are doing it and so on. if you can let your character shine, your personality, based on your experiences and your background, there are certain people that are going to resonate with you and gravitate towards you. There's some people going to be turned off by you, but that's okay. Because when you can let your personality shine, you're going to attract the right people. So create valuable content and be yourself. Let your character shine. And when the right person finds you, they're going to want to do business with you. And that's it. Peace.
See, I told you Leslie would make you smile. Leslie always makes me smile. I just love that guy. So next up, one of the most impressive business people that I know, Michael Stelzner. He runs the amazing, huge brand Social Media Examiner. And you've heard me talk many times about going out to social media marketing world and participating in that conference and leading tracks and speaking on occasion and so forth. I just love that conference, Social Media Marketing World. And in fact, it was amazing because this year we just barely got that conference in before the COVID crisis. This is one of the last major conference events in the state of California before they locked everything down. So that was really lucky and really great. It's an amazing event. Mike is wise. He's one of the smartest businessmen that I know, not just intellectually, but he's an amazing operations guy, a great marketing strategist. If you were stuck in an elevator with Mike, you would get intelligence from him just by standing next to him. But if you got him to talk to you like this, here's what he might say to you.
Hey there, it's Mike Stelzner. So here is the scenario. Stepping into an elevator, somebody sees me and they say, wow, you're not going to believe this, but last night I finally started an internet business. I'm so excited, but I'm just getting started. Can you give me some advice? My advice to you is that in the very beginning, it's not going to go as easily as you hope. But that is normal. Do not let that discourage you. Instead, what you should do in the beginning is understand that it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. One of the very first things that I would consider doing is coming up with a content strategy so that you can regularly create some form of content to get in front of your ideal audience. And that content might be starting a blog, might be starting a podcast, might be regularly posting videos on your YouTube channel. Whatever the process of content creation is, you should commit to regularly creating content and start watching for the signals. And those signals are people commenting and letting you know, oh my gosh, this was absolutely amazing. The reason why this is so important at the beginning of a business is to get to the point where you are not going to become reliant on someone else who already has eyeballs, like Facebook and Google. So instead, by creating content on a channel that you have some sort of control over, you can eventually build a loyal following that will turn into customers. Because in the end, we do business with those whom we know, like, and trust. Oh, bing, the elevator's just opened. I've got to go. I wish you the absolute best in your new venture. See you later.
Okay, how awesome was that? Now, Mike, I really respect him. And when he was a kid, he grew up down the street here in Texas from where I live right now. So that's an extra little bond that we have. And finally, to wrap things up today, one of my best friends in the whole world, Cliff Ravenscraft. He is an amazing guy, and what he's able to do for people is unlock their potential. It's really amazing how he's evolved from being the podcast answer man, a guy who followed his dream and turned that dream into a thriving six-figure business, and then decided to follow a new dream and has built a new six-figure business. This is a guy with just a lot of personal experience, raw and real about what it takes to be successful as a solo entrepreneur. And he's also a dear, close personal friend. I love him and his family. Here's what he has to say in the elevator.
Here's what I would say. Relationships. Everything that you need will be found through the investment in intentional relationships. First and foremost, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I encourage you to build relationships with a very strong mastermind group. People who inspire you, motivate you, people who will help you consistently elevate your own mindset and way of thinking to new levels. And then when it comes to relationships outside of that mastermind group, every customer, potential customer, every individual who subscribes to a mailing list, any individual who reads a blog or a podcast, care about each of them. Invest in each of those people as human beings as much as you can. Eventually, it will get to the place where you can't invest in everyone, and ultimately, you'll have to do for some what you wish you could do for everyone. But when you actually have a relationship and begin to invest in a relationship, I encourage you to go deep rather than wide. Relationships. That would be the advice that I would give in a very tall skyscraper.
Yeah, you got to love Cliff. I mean, every word that comes out of his mouth is straight from his heart, and that's one of the things I really love about him. Okay, so that's it. I hope some of that resonates with you, and I hope as a 20th anniversary episode present to me, you will share this episode, tweet it out, share it on Facebook, head over to latenightim.com/share, and you can share this episode. It'll give you different ways to do that. I really appreciate that. Next week, we're going to have Ray Edwards on the show, and he's going to be delivering some really powerful ideas about copywriting that will help you convert more visitors into buyers in this critical time. You know, a lot of solo entrepreneurs are struggling right now, and there's no better time to take the visitors that you have and increase revenue from those visitors in a time where people need your help. They need what you're offering, and you need that revenue in these kind of trying times with the pandemic and that sort of thing. So we'll be talking a little bit about that next week. I encourage you to tune in, and until then, stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay in your house, follow directions, stay alive so you can hear what we got next week. Ciao.
You can do it right when it's late at night.
You've been listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Be sure to visit lnimpodcast.com today to leave feedback for Mark. Download special bonus content, access the show notes, and more. See you there.
Until then, go and make some great progress on your internet business, one night at a time.
One night at a time.
Man, 200 episodes, 200 transcripts, 200 blog posts to go with them, hundreds of, 100 little video promos, guests. I mean, it's just hard to imagine. But it goes to show you that when you do a little thing a little bit consistently over and over, you can accomplish something really great. I mean, this show, it's important to me personally, and I've gotten such amazing, wonderful feedback from people that have listened for years, and man, I appreciate that. And you know, when if you help someone and you help them move along in their business, or you turn on a light bulb for them, that is an incredibly rewarding thing. And for me, that's what this show enables. It lets me do that for thousands of people every week, and I just love it. I hope that you also see that in addition, you know, there's this one powerful thing that if you do something consistently, that will pile up and add up, and over time you can build something really great. But I hope you also recognize the gap, and that is that it took me 10 years to get to 200 episodes. That's ridiculous. I mean, it is true that most podcasts die after 7 or 10 episodes. So getting to 200 episodes is a big deal, and I'm very proud of that. But look at all the money that I left on the table. And by money, I mean, look at all the people that I could have helped if I'd gotten those 200 episodes done in 4 years instead of 10. And if now, instead of on episode 200, I was on episode 500, like I should be. Think of all the additional great content I could have created and all the additional people that I could have helped if I'd been consistent. And that's what I want to say to you. If you're doing something in your internet business and you're creating content, and you're helping people, you're putting stuff out there, be consistent. And even if it doesn't feel like today that you did much, if you do it today and again tomorrow and the next day and every day this month and every month this year, eventually you'll be 10 years down the road and you will look back and say, wow, I had this amazing impact. And when I add it all together, it's an unbelievable body of work. And the more consistent you are, the more impactful that will be. Ciao.
Late night internet marketing.
Hey, it's Mark again. I wanted to tell you one more time about this absolutely free resource that I have for helping people who are trying to get the big picture for internet marketing, actually get started and understand what all their choices are. If that's not you, there's no more content. You can skip to the end. But if you're someone who came to this podcast because you're searching for how to get started online and you just can't cut through all the noise, I get it. That was me. In 2007, when I was trying to get started, there were so many people throwing offers at me that I really couldn't even understand what all the different business models were. I couldn't understand how money moved around on the internet, and I couldn't really get a grip on what direction I wanted to go in so I could figure out how to move forward. I've created a free video resource for you just for that purpose at latenightim.com/explain. In several short videos, I just explained to you what internet marketing is all about and what online business is all about and the different options that you have for starting an online business. There's nothing to buy there. You just sign up for access and you get the videos just like that. So if that's interesting to you, or if you know someone who's in a same situation, send them that link, latenightim.com/explain. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what people are thinking that are in the exact same position that I was in more than a decade ago in 2007. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. And in some ways, it seems like an entire lifetime ago. Again, that's latenightim.com/explain.
Late night internet marketing.